voice in the tape recorder. Ethan was a collector of forgotten things. Old radios, cracked vinyl records, broken televisions. He loved them all. He claimed it wasn't just the objects themselves, but the weight of history clinging to them. He felt every scratch and dent was a story, every layer of dust a secret waiting to be unearthed. One rainy afternoon, while wandering through a flea market, he spotted a dusty tape recorder. Its metal casing was chipped, the buttons stiff with rust. Tucked inside was a cassette, its label handwritten in faded ink. "Play me." Ethan's lips curled into a grin. Perfect. That night, he set the recorder on his desk. His apartment was small, silent except for the hum of the fridge. The city outside seemed muffled by the rain. He pressed play. At first, there was only static, the grainy hiss of magnetic tape. Then, a voice. Ethan, his blood chilled. It wasn't possible. His name was spoken clearly, whispered with a slow, intimate tone, as if the speaker were sitting right beside him. He laughed nervously. "Probably a coincidence," he muttered, though unease prickled under his skin. The voice continued. "I know where you keep the box under your bed." Ethan froze. No one knew about that box. Inside were letters he never sent, things he was ashamed of, scraps of a life he didn't want anyone to see. He stopped the tape. His hands trembled as he rewound it. When he pressed play again, the voice repeated the exact words. Cold, certain, personal. That night, Ethan didn't sleep. The following evening, he convinced himself it was some elaborate prank. Perhaps the tape belonged to someone else with the same name. Yet, against his better judgment, he played it again. The whisper greeted him like an old friend. "Ethan, do you remember the fire?" His chest tightened. The fire had happened when he was 7. His neighbor's house had burned down after he and some friends had played with matches in the shed. Nobody ever found out. No one should know, but the voice knew. Ethan slammed the stop button. The recorder clicked. Silent. He told himself he'd throw it away in the morning, but morning came, and he couldn't bring himself to do it. The recorder sat on his desk, waiting. Each night he played it again. Each night the voice grew darker. It whispered of his parents' secrets, the affairs, the lies, the debts. It whispered of his friend, describing how they laughed about him when he wasn't around. It told him the exact number of steps from his apartment door to his bed. It always ended the same way. "Someone is watching you, Ethan." He began noticing shadows in places they shouldn't be, reflections in mirrors that seemed a fraction too slow, the sense of eyes lingering in the corners of his room, all always just beyond sight. Sleep abandoned him entirely. One night, he pressed play and waited, heart pounding, but the tape didn't begin with static this time. Instead, it began with breathing, ragged, trembling, unmistakably his own. Then his own voice spoke. "If you're hearing this, it means I've already seen him." Ethan's skin crawled. His throat tightened, but he couldn't tear himself away. The recorded version of himself continued. "He stands behind me, just out of sight. I can feel his breath on my neck. He waits for me to turn around." Ethan's hands shook violently. He glanced over his shoulder. Nothing. The tape went on. "I won't turn. I can't. Because if I do, he'll know I believe in him. And once you believe, he never leaves." The recording stopped abruptly. Silence filled the room. Ethan sat frozen, drenched in sweat. He had never recorded that message. From that night onward, the voice no longer whispered secrets of his past. Instead, it gave instructions. Don't look in the mirror. Don't answer the knock at the door after midnight. Don't speak when you hear your name whispered from the dark. Ethan obeyed. He was too terrified not to. His life became a ritual of paranoia, ruled by the tape recorder. Days bled into weeks. He stopped going outside. He stopped answering calls. His friends assumed he had disappeared, but Ethan knew the truth. He couldn't leave, because the tape wouldn't let him. The final night came quietly. He sat in the dark, the recorder before him. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. His reflection in the black window looked gaunt, eyes sunken with madness. He pressed play. This time, there was no whisper, no secrets, no warnings, only his own desperate voice, shaking, broken. "He's behind me now. I can hear him breathing. If you're listening, Ethan, don't turn around. Don't." The voice on the tape ended with a scream. Ethan felt the hairs rise on the back of his neck. The room grew icy, a presence pressing in from behind. His body refused to move, but his mind screamed at him to look. Slowly, against his will, he began to turn. The tape recorder clicked. Silence. The next morning, his apartment was empty. The tape sat on the desk, rewound its label still scrawled with faded ink.